Good morning. Topic for today's discussion is presentation layer design issues, data compression techniques. We will discuss these two topics, presentation layer design issues and data compression techniques. Objectives of the today's lecture is to understand the presentation layer design issues. What are the different issues in designing the presentation layer of the OSI reference model? And second objective is to discuss the different general approaches to data compression techniques. Under this, we will discuss three approaches for data compression. Okay. So first of all, let us focus on the first objective, that is presentation layer design issues. The presentation layer is concerned with preserving the meaning of information that's sent across a network. What does it mean? If in a network a source sends a message hello, then that must reach at the destination as hello, or if the source send numeral 1000, then it must reach at the destination as 1000 only. The meaning should not be changed. The main objective of the presentation layer is to ensure the preservation of the meaning of information sent across a network. The presentation layer may represent the data in various ways, but the receiving peer will convert the encoding back into its original meaning. Means before the transmission, to ensure the preserving the meaning, there may be some encoding or decoding process, data compression process. Okay. The presentation layer concerns itself with the following issues. The first issue is data format, in what format the data will be transmitted, compression of the data, compressing of data, security and privacy issues. So we will see these three issues. So first of all, let us see the data format. Converting the complex data structures used by an application, strings, integers, structure, etc., into a byte stream transmitted across the network. It means whatever is the data structure that needs to be converted into a byte stream, either it is string or integer or structure, that must be converted into a byte stream, representing information in such a way that communicating peers agrees to the format of the data being exchanged. If two communicating parties are there, then there must be some agreement between the communicating parties. How many bits does an integer contain? What will the character set, whether it will be ASCII or EBCDIC character set? There must be some agreement between communicating parties. Second issue is compressing data. Compressing data is concerned with the reduction of the amount of transmitted data, that is to reduce the amount of transmitted data. For example, to save money, if we will transmit over the network less amount of data, obviously performance of the system or network will be better, and that will cost less. Third issue is security and privacy issues. So first of all, let us see encryption. What is the encryption? Scrambling the data so that only authorized participants can unscramble the message of a conversation. If sender A is transmitting some message to receiver B, then only B can decode the message. Some other party should not be in position to decode the message. Since we know well that in the case of Ethernet, in LAN, wiretapping is very easy. It's very easy to wiretap transmission media such as Ethernet. So wiretapping may cause the data threatening. So if the data will be encrypted, even though that will be received by some other parties, he should not be able to scramble that. The scrambling of the data should be done in such a way that only authorized participant can unscramble. Authentication. Verifying that remote party really is the party they claim to be rather than an imposter. There must be no unauthenticated person who is claiming that I am genuine or authenticated person. There must be a verification mechanism. If someone is at the remote place, there should be some mechanism to ensure that you can verify him. Okay. After discussing the different presentation layer issues, now let's focus on the second objective of the lecture, that is the data compression techniques. Here we have three natural questions. Why do data compression is needed? What is it? And trying to reduce the amount of data sent, what is the trade-off? What is the trade-off? What is the benefits? What is the harm or loss? What is the merit or what is the demerit? So our discussion will be based on this. Why do data compression requires? Obviously, we require data compression to reduce the transmission cost. What is it? Obviously, it is a reduction of amount of data. And let us try to understand what is the data compression. Suppose that we wanted to transfer 20 megabit file to another machine. Would we really need to send 20 megabyte of data? Suppose if the file consisted entirely the capital letter A only, we could send the letter A followed by the count of the number of times it appears in the file and have the receiver regenerate the file. This is important. Receiver regenerate the file, count the number of letter A from the source and just send or transmit letter A and the count of A. At the receiver side, if it will received by the receiver, receiver will regenerate the original file. Okay. There are three general approaches to data compression. Each approach assumes that the data stream can be transformed into a more compact representation. Data stream can be transformed into a more compact representation, which the receiver reconstruct back into the original data. The receiver reconstruct back into the original data. First approach is approach 1, finite set of symbols. Approach 2, Huffman encoding. Approach 3, run length encoding. Let us see these three approaches one by one. So first of all, finite set of symbols. Let us try to understand with an example. Consider a library with many branch offices in which the previous day's transactions are sent to every other branch after closing. Transactions consist of checked out and returned books. We could exchange information in the following ways. Here we discuss two ways. In the first way, we could send the name of the book, its author, the copy number, etc. together with the type of transaction. This is one way. And in other way, alternatively, the library could maintain a site-wide table assigning a unique ID number to every book in every branch. Unique ID number to every book in every branch. Transaction could then refer to the book's ID number. Book's ID number rather than its title. Because book IDs are small, that is a few bytes, less data will be transmitted. So the second approach will ensure less amount of data to be transmitted from one site to another site. Note, let us try to correlate this concept with the programming concept. The above technique is used throughout programming. The above technique is used throughout programming. We frequently exchange pointers and array subscript to avoid the cost of transferring large amount of data between subroutines. We just pass the pointer. Okay. The previous approach assumes that all objects occur with equal frequency and that the set of objects, that is books, is finite. If we examine text, however, we immediately notice that some words appear more than others. We could reduce the number of bits needed to represent the document. We could reduce the number of bits needed to represent document by using a coding scheme that is employs small code words to represent common words and longer code words to represent words that appear infrequently. Now let us see the second approach, that is Huffman coding. Huffman coding is a technique used to encode symbols according to the frequency of their use. Huffman coding is a technique used to encode symbols according to the frequency of their use. The algorithm is as follows. There are 4 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4. But before that, let us try to understand this with suitable example. Then we will come back on the algorithm. Imagine, look on this picture. Imagine we are given a file in which there are 6 symbols, A, B, C, D, E, F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 symbols are there, and the occurrence of A is 45 times, occurrence of B is 13 times, occurrence of C is 12 times, occurrence of D is 16 times, E is 9 times, F is 5 times. So how the Huffman encode these symbols, or how the compression is done? Let us see. Here this is the algorithm and a number of steps are mentioned here. In the Huffman encoding, algorithm proceeds as follows. From the given set of symbols, we count the 2 smallest frequencies. In this case, here we have 45 for 13, 12, 16, 9 and 5. Smallest frequencies are 5 and 9. And F is 5 and C is 9. So we start from here as two nodes. F is 5 times and C is 9 times, and we cut these two. Okay, remove these two nodes. We start from the two nodes, F as 5 times as left node and C as 9 times right node. Then we add these two, 5 and 9, that is 14, and we write here 14. C and F is forming the occurrence as 14. Then including these 14, we proceed further to find the next two smallest number, 14, 16, 12, 13, 45. So here have these two smallest frequencies symbols, 12 and 13. So this B and C will not fit here. We will draw another two nodes, C as the left node 12 with frequency 12, B as right node with frequency 13. Then B and C, the occurrence of both will be 25 here, and these two nodes will be removed from here. These two nodes will be removed from here, and cumulative frequency will be 25. Cumulative frequency will be 25. Okay, now these four entries has been removed. Now we have the frequency values as 14, 25, 16 and 45. This one. So the smallest of these out of 45, 25, 16 and 14 is 14 and 16. So we will pick 14 and 16. So 14 is already there, then that's why this 16 will be the right node of this, and D, this node will be this one. So 14 plus 16 cumulatively this will be 30. It will be 30. Then this D will be removed again. This will be, D will be removed. Now the remaining entries are A is equal to 45 and this 25 and this 30. This 30. Out of these three, 25 and 30 are the smallest values, and 25 and 30 are our smallest values. That's why we'll keep this as such. And now when we will create a new node that will form a cumulative node as 55, and when these two will be added, the 55 will be new one. Then out of 55 and 45, 45 will be the smallest one. That's why A out of the A will be as the left node, A oblique 45, and 55 is already there at the right node, and this will form 45 plus 55, that is 100. Now we will assign left node edge as with 0 and right node is with 1. This is 1. Okay. So let us see how these different nodes will be represented. Since A is here, that's why A is starting from here 100, we will reach here. That's why it is 0. B, node B. Node B is here. We will start from here 1, 0 and 1. 1, 0 and 1. C is here. So 1, 0, 0. This one. D is here. So 1, 1, 1. E is here 1101. F is here 1100. Okay, now come to the concept. In step 1, create a set of nodes, one node per symbol, with the node values given by the probability of its occurrence in the data. So initially we have done this here. In step 2, find the two nodes having the smallest value, remove them from the set and create a new node having the two removed nodes as children and assign the new node a value that is sum of its children's value. Add the new node back to the set of nodes. New node back to the set of nodes. Here we are adding 5 and 9, and new node is creating, and we are adding back to this set of nodes. Okay. Step 3. Repeat step 2 until only one node remains. We now have a tree whose probability value is 1. The encoding for each symbol is the path from the root to the symbol using a code of 0 for left child, 1 for right child. We can see here 0 for left child and 1 for right child. Using a code 0 for a left child, 1 for right child, the length of each symbol's encoding is proportional to the relative probability of its occurrence. Okay. So these are the different compressions. Okay. Now, one drawback with Huffman encoding, however, is that symbols have differing lengths, making it relatively expensive to decode. Symbols have differing lengths. How? The length of symbol A is 1, length of the symbol B is 3, length of the symbol F is 4. Symbols have differing lengths, making it relatively expensive to decode. Also, single bit error can wipe out the entire message. Okay. Now, next let us see third approach, run length encoding. Run length encoding is used to encode data containing repetitive symbols. Run length encoding is a form of lossless data compression in which runs of data sequences in which the same data value occurs, many consecutive data elements are stored as a single data value and count, rather than as the original run. This is most useful on data that contains many such runs. Okay. For example, here we have a data so many times W followed by B, so many times W followed by B, so many times W followed by B, so many times W. Okay. So we can encode this as follows. Count the number of W's, 12, starting from here to here, 12. Then W, right? 12W means 12 occurrence of W. 1B, 1 occurrence of B. 12, then followed by 12 occurrence of B, W. Then 3 occurrence of B. Then 24 occurrence of W up to here. Then 1 occurrence of B, then 14 occurrence of W. What happens? We can see here that in this stream there are 67 characters, but we can code this 67 character byte stream into 18 characters in this simple way. For example, consider a screen containing plain back text on a solid white background. There will be many long runs of white pixels in the blank space and many short runs of black pixels within the text. A hypothetical scan line with B representing the black pixel, and W representing the white might read as follows. With the run length encoding data compression algorithm applied to the hypothetical scan line, it can be rendered as. This can be interpreted as a sequence of 12 W's, 1 B, 12 W's, 3 B's, etc. And obviously we have a very good compression ratio. 67 characters is going to be compressed into 18 characters. Let us see another view. Run length coding is very simple form of data compression in which runs of data, that is sequences in which the same data value occurs in many consecutive elements, are stored as a single data value and count rather than as the original run. For example, A, B, 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 C, 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 we can write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4B, 1, 2, 3, 3C. Okay, or we are given another stream of binary numbers, 5 times 0, 4 times 1, 3 times 0. We can write this of 5, 0, 4, 1, 3, 0. Or we are given apple, we can write simply as 5 apples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out of means here there will be 25 characters, but that 25 characters can be converted into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 characters only. The drawback, what is the drawback of this scheme? The drawback is that if the frequency of this type of occurrence is very less in the form of A, B, C, D, then E, F, G, then what will happen? We will write A1, B1, C1, D1. Then it require only 4 characters, but in this case we require 2, 4, 6, 8 characters. If there are no repeating values, in the data, run length coding doubles the amount of number compared with original data. What is the advantage? RLC is reversible and lossless compression technique. Okay. So thank you very much. That's all for today. Today we have seen the different issues of the presentation layer and different data compression techniques. Okay, thank you very much. That's all for today.